What's cooking? What's cooking is an 8-minute ramen. Saucy, flavorsome, and rich. Why, you ask? I'm glad you did. Because at the School of Design, we believe that design is just not aesthetics. It's culture, shapes, communities, and business. And today we have someone who believes exactly that. Tanu Sinha, Head of Design at PepsiCo India. A very warm welcome, Tanu.
Thank you.
How was your journey? Did you just come into Dehradun?
I just landed like half an hour back.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good flight.
Is this your first time in the town?
Not really. I have some family in Rishikesh, so
Mhm.
I have kind of come to Dehradun in the past. Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to get into this one very unique activity which a lot of people don't do. It's an ice-breaking session.
Sure.
So we
Let's do it.
have 3 bowls.
Okay.
I'll probably just jumble these bowls because ramen, and we're very true to our word.
Yes.
So all of these bowls, they have a question beneath. You pick a question, and the question can be saucy, flavorsome, and rich.
Okay.
I'll ask you that question, and we'll take it from there.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Let's
just jumble these up.
Yeah,
for you then.
let's do this.
Cool. All right, all yours.
Okay, let me pick the center one. You want to take it?
So we say that the pink one is the saucier one. So I think things are getting hot already.
I know.
Cool. Okay. So the question is that how do you ensure design influences the core strategy and not just the execution or aesthetics?
Wow, I love this question. I think the biggest differentiator in terms of how design stops at execution versus how design is part of the core strategy is you have to be business savvy. The
Mhm.
designer who's on the job has to be business savvy. You need to understand your competition. You need to understand your consumer. You need to understand what's the core problem you're trying to solve.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are in the part of the journey together with the business stakeholders is when you are really making an impact. So it's not just about executing, it's not just about delivering on the brief, but a lot of times it's also about co-creating the brief, trying to understand what is the business requirement, what is the problem you're trying to solve for the business, for the consumers, for the communities more often. And that's where I think the real differentiation lies.
Mm-hmm. And that's so wonderfully put, and that actually leads me to this question that I'm very eager to ask. You've worked in these different communities, with folks in India, South Asia, Africa, and you've catered to their demands and you've actually brought success, right? So, what was probably a design principle that you kept as constant, or the strategical approach that you had when you were, facing these requirements and challenges? And how did you ensure that it was success through and through?
Whenever you're working with global brands, which are mass brands, and you see your brands and your products in consumers' hands, there are 2 things you need to be very cautious of. One is that as a brand custodian, you have a huge responsibility. So you need to make sure that there is a brand consistency across the regions, across the geographies. So if you pick up a Lay's pack, whether you're picking it in India or picking it in South Africa or picking it in Egypt, or other parts of the world for that matter, you need to make sure that it is recognizably Lay's. So you need to maintain the sanctity of the brand. At the same time, you need to bring in the cultural nuances. So I think 2 things. One is how you maintain the consistency, and the other is how do you bring in the cultural nuance with a lot of empathy.
Empathy. That's going to be the takeaway, and I think that's a takeaway for every designer. I want to ask that what do you think is going to be the future of the design industry, specifically given that now a lot of Gen Zs are coming into the industry?
Yeah. It's an interesting question because what I love about Gen Z is that they take ownership, and when I look at the young cohort, the young designers who work with me, when I look at younger people also as consumers, not just as, my colleagues, I think they are far more empowered, they're far more aware, and they want to make an impact. And they really don't want to do something for the sake of doing it. I
Absolutely.
think gone are the days when you would ask somebody to do it and they would just do it because somebody asked them to do it. Now we live in those times where young people question, they question, why do we have to do this? Do we really have to do this? What difference is it going to make? Can we do it in any other way?
Right.
And I think that's a very interesting challenge for everybody because it opens everybody's mind.
Yeah.
So I think what you need to do is you need to lean on the experiences of the past, but really understand what is needed for the generation today and in the future. Okay. So I think leveraging technology, leveraging consumer insight, really trying to understand what people want today is, I think, how design can sort of cater to those changing needs. Okay. Another thing is that as we move forward and we're seeing the world changing in so many ways, technology is disrupting it. There is so much social awakening that is happening. I think we need to be more conscious as designers.
Yeah.
And I think it's an extremely important part because we are not in the industrial age, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I believe this is where, a lot of emphasis comes on learning and also being open to unlearning things.
Yes.
And that's so wonderfully put by you.
Yeah.
That's great. We can get into a fun segment of rapid
Yeah,
fire.
sure.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
So we ditch the long answers, get into the instinct mode,
Yes.
and the dramatic pauses are encouraged.
Sure.
That we can do. Your first question is that what excites you more today? Design for sustainability or design for youth culture?
Or both, because I think we no more have the luxury to not look at sustainability, right? So I think both.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
A design rule that you enjoy breaking?
We all say that look for the insight, look for the consumer insight, do consumer research. And, when you talk about design thinking, testing is one of the important aspects of design thinking process. But I think sometimes consumers don't know what they want.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to break that rule and put it out, design it, put it out there for them to see it.
And for them
And
to test it and then
experience
say
it.
that probably this is
Yes.
what they wanted.
Yes.
That's true. A project or brand moment that gave you goosebumps?
Oh, recently I saw this beautiful Lacoste jacket that they designed for Novark to wear for the US Open 2025 in New York, and it has this really gorgeous world map on the jacket.
Yeah.
So you should see, you should check it out. I saw it yesterday. Yeah, it's brilliant.
I'm
It
gonna
was
check
like
that
a
out.
mic drop moment.
Okay. One South Asian design inside that the world underestimates.
I think the power of culture.
Your go-to creative recharge ritual outside of work.
Travel,
Recreation.
anytime
Yeah.
travel.
Okay, last one. This one is my personal favorite. If design had a soundtrack for you,
Yeah.
what would it sound like?
This is the hardest question
Yeah.
you've asked me today. I don't know if you can make a soundtrack for design, but yeah, it has to be something which is very varied and diverse and dynamic and changing and
Catchy.
super exciting, energetic, and yeah, it's for everyone.
That's awesome. I love it. Very nice. So thank you for that lovely bite at the end of the
Thank you so
ramen
much.
segment of ours.
Thank you. I really enjoyed having this chat today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.